All right, so at the beginning of this proxy rig development process, you saw me attempt to use the Skincage and you saw it fail with an error, something about a skin curve. And I suspect that the problem is this appendage here that attaches the pendant to the main chain. That's why I was even a little worried about the ears and where to attach them and stuff, because I know sometimes it can misbehave like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to temporarily detach this chain from the main chain and run the Skincage again and see if I'm going to run into the same problems. So I'm going to select this and go Shift P. So now it's sitting out here, it's disconnected. Let me hide my motion system. And I might as well also hide this body. I'll just template it and go ahead and create the Skincage again and see what happens. So I'm gonna go create. Yes, so that was the problem. It's the attached appendage. All right, so what I'm going to do now is just show you an example of how everything that I did we could do with the Skincage, all that weight painting. I'm going to go through the quick process of using the Skincage to get the weighting I want for the CutUp tool. So the first thing I'm going to do is hit this deformation width button. It explains very well what it does over here, but I know that it just makes the red skin curves go tighter around the green skin curves, thus making the area of gradation shorter. It feels like it, but it has a more detailed explanation here. But just watch what happens in the viewport when I hit deformation width. Yeah, it pushes them to be tighter to the green curves, and you get more of a tight weighting. And the other thing I'm going to do is, actually what I should do first is take a look at how it's going to look as is. So I'm going to hide these skin curves and the Skincage, bring back my mesh, and I'm going to go copy weights. And now that I've done that, I'm going to bring the motion system back and just see what the Skincage has given me. Okay, so it's very similar to what we had with when we weighted ourselves. All right, let's take a look at this. I just want to show you that you still would have to do some custom weight painting, but the Skincage has also done a pretty good job of weighting. No weird weights being sent to the fingers, across the fingers. Everything looks good. If I do a foot roll right there, yeah, it's a very nice, clean weighting. The Skincage is very powerful. It's a good place to start. All right, let's check out the hip rocker. Okay, so it's not bad. I'm going to do some quick edits to the Skincage that I know typically help. Start with under the armpit here. Let me hide the motion system again. And let's grab this Skincage. Go like that. Grab that one. And just make sure I have some cleaner results. Like that. And I trust the fingers. What is it under the fingers? It's more so under the arm, the armpit, this area, the shoulder and the upper arm, and this groin area. And for this groin area, it has a pretty cool tool that you can use to fix it. So I'm going to hide the cage and bring back my mesh. And then I'm going to do create groin locators. And it's giving me two locators that have to be positioned in a certain way. One of them goes right at the private area, right underneath the private area, and the other one goes by the greater trochanter. So that's going to be around here. And with those edits, if I go back to the Skincage and I say adjust growing area, then it gives me a better distribution of the Skincage geometry. All right, so this by itself is a pretty good result. Let me adjust this so it looks slightly better. And another thing I'm going to do is adjust this to be just a little tighter. And when you do this, you can also bring the motion system back and test what you have on the Skincage before you copy the weights. So that looks pretty good. And yeah, it's a good starting point. So what I want to show now is what the cutout tool will give us. So let me go back to my geometry, hide my motion system. I'm going to select my mesh and go copy weights, so that actually before I do that, I do have to mirror all the changes I've done on this Skincage. So I'm going to mirror from right to left so that everything I did on this side can go to the other side. And I'm going to bring back my geometry and go copy weights. So now if I bring back my motion system, the weighting is a little bit better. Yeah, that's not bad. Yeah, you would definitely either have to adjust these curves a lot more, or discard the cage when you're done using it and then go end up doing all the weight painting that I did previously. Something like this I probably could have done better by moving the cage like this. Let me copy weights again. Actually go right to left first and then copy weights. And then let me see if it fixes. Yeah, it fixes that underarm issue to some degree. You just have to keep moving those skin curves till you get what you want. But let's assume that we are satisfied with this result. Let's take this preliminary Skincage result and let's run our CutUp tool and see what it does. So I'm going to come down here to my skin CutUp and run a cut. So I'll go create. Okay, so that's the finished CutUp. I'm going to hide my geometry so we can inspect it. Let me unreference the layer. Yeah, and I will admit that this is a lot better than what I had. Well, it's slightly better than my results from my first initial skinning, right? So if we take a look at that, these are the results from the first skinning I did and refined, right? So this was the refined version. It's not bad, right? But you definitely want something that's a little better as far as estimating what the final skinning is going to look like, because you usually turn to this when you want just a cheaper mesh to in the viewport, so that you're not getting chugging, or if your frame rate is reduced significantly for whatever reason, you want to be able to use a proxy mesh. So let's take a look at the Skincage result with a walk cycle. So I'm going to open the walk designer and I'm going to go start. And let me pick the same female walk. And this is our result. Let me go window, UI, time slider. Yeah. About the same. The only difference is this result was achieved faster by just adjusting some skin curves for the Skincage, and mirroring it over, just copying weights, and then you have something. So if you want like a fast proxy, this is not bad, right? It's going to service you well. Let me take a look at some of this stuff. Yeah, it's not that bad, right? For me, this feels a little sloppy. Let me look at what the ears will deliver. Yeah, you would just have to go in there and make the edit. So it's up to you. You can, weight paint and clean up the weighting, or you can start with the Skincage and clean up the weighting. Ultimately, I just wanted the constraint connection so that I can connect my own geometry too. All right, so let's take a look at the final result of me extracting and attaching to the offset parent matrix constraints that Advanced Skeleton provided. So I managed to get everything connected. Let's do a quick test. I'm going to make my curves selectable. This is the bend controls. And here, bend controls again. Twist controls. Yeah, it looks pretty good. And use some of these drivers just to show you what it feels like. So this is a spread. I should probably hide my original geometry. That one. So we can take a look at this proxy. And I've put everything on the body layer here. So this is a spread. Yeah, if you extract, it's so much more cleaner. I'll do a walk test very shortly, but I just want to show you how this stuff is working. You have the cup joint. Let me do the cup joint. Yeah, so it's a good simulation. We have the knee bend. I turned on stretch so you can see what it feels like when you're stretching and you're getting the funneling of the volume controls, the twisting of the leg. So it all feels good when you extract your own geometry. Just so much more cleaner. It's a much cleaner result. Yeah. Yeah, all the stretching in the neck feels good. And the stretching in the spine also feels good. All right, and the last thing I'll test is just also test it with the walk cycle. So I'm going to open advanced. Come down here, open the walk designer, go start. Okay. Also use the female walk. Let me make my background a little darker so we can see this better. Display my time slider, and let's take a look. Yeah, much cleaner, right? This is a better proxy to look at. It's more refined. So if you have the time, definitely extract your own thing and attach it to whatever the CutUp tool gives you, and you'll just end up with a cleaner rig that you can hand out to people and it won't feel unprofessional. All right, so this feels really good and looks really clean. So the next thing to move on to now is to cut up the proxy clothes and attach them to the rig in the same way. And once that is done, we're ready to move on to the rigging of the tail.